your attention, please. It's time for the final countdown. The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
What's going on?
That was probably one of the most boringest intros I've ever had.
Do you change them every week? Is that what you do, or every episode?
Oh yeah, I got like hundreds of them.
Oh wow!
I think the intro dictates on whether it's going to be a good podcast or a bad one.
Okay.
I mean, and bad don't necessarily mean bad. Podcasts have a tendency to go left, way left. I mean, Louisiana left. You know what I mean? It has a tendency of going that way. But guys, how you guys doing today?
Man,
good. How about yourself?
Doing good. How are you guys?
Good, man. It's about 85 degrees down here, cloudy, with a 60% chance of rain.
Yeah.
And I hope it does. I hope it rains for 40 days and 40 nights here.
We've gotten rain over the last couple weeks, so we're good up here. But the grass is growing. That's what matters, I guess. We'll send it your way. How's that sound?
Well, yeah. I mean, we would take it. Our lakes, man. Our lakes are so low you can actually walk.
Wow.
From one side to the other side without getting your feet wet.
Oh wow. Yeah, that's
And I don't know what the hell we're gonna do for water if we don't.
We
get some water here soon.
We toured the Hoover Dam a few years ago, and it was really low. What you see on the line is exactly what you see in person. It's super low.
See, and, the Hoover controls the Colorado, right?
I can't answer that. I don't know. But,
yeah.
It's low.
I think the Hoover runs through the Colorado. Actually, in the Colorado, guess where that runs to? Right to Texas.
That's right.
And it's pretty crazy. What's going on, Preacher Ghost? How you doing today? How you appreciate on the show? Guys, what is going on, man? Talk to me about what's going on up in Pittsburgh.
What's going on in Pittsburgh, Bill? Lots going on. Lots to do.
Yeah.
Lots of, we're right in the epicenter, right near, about 30 minutes from Ohio, a hotbed for paranormal. We got some near about 40 minutes from West Virginia Penn. Lots of places. But, Pittsburgh itself has some great spots. We're actually, to tell us a little bit about ourselves, we are a friends and family team of 8. It's primarily my family, and then Bill and Carrie are our best friends. And we started back in 2022, Bill?
Yep.
At this point. Bill did a couple investigations prior to taking us on one. We actually did a public at one of our favorite locations, Hillview Manor up in Newcastle, Pennsylvania. Bill had I think Bill, all he had was a spirit box. We had everybody starts off with a K2 meter and a cat ball. Bill had a little bit more. And Bill, I'll let you take that story because it's kind of exciting for us to talk about. But I think I always talk about it, so I think I'll pass the ball to you.
Which one? You're talking about Hillview when we got the
Eli.
shadow?
Eli's boiler room.
Yeah. So we were doing just a live some EVP work and had on headphones. So I was listening through my recorder, and Zach was doing I think you were doing a burst session, Zach. Well, we had a room full of people. We're asking questions.
Yeah.
And then right in between, you just hear like this low disembodied growl. And me and Zach looked at each other like, what the hell was that? And next thing you know, it was just like pandemonium. Everyone's freaking out. It was like out of nowhere, we're thinking like, is it someone's stomach? Nope, it was a real deal with this body growl. And then was that the same night, Zach, that we caught the shadow in the hallway, or was that a different night?
That was a different night. We've been to Hillview so many freaking times at this point. But yeah, that's what kind of got our interest in the paranormal, and I think that's poor Bill turned me into a monster and Tammy into a monster as well. Tammy's my wife, and ever since then we kind of pushed ourselves into the paranormal, and all these years later we're here and we've done so many darn investigations, been so many different places, and one of the more exciting things about the paranormal is everybody you meet. They always say para-unity, and we can get into that if you want, but I mean, we've met so many phenomenal people, and I see so many people, our friends on here already, Future Ghost Paranormal, with Rochelle and Tiffany. They're some of our closest friends. We see Almay Paranormal, they're joining us tonight. That's Elise and Megan, as well as a few other team members. We met them along the way. And, it's just such a phenomenal thing. We expected to, find what's on the other side. That's essentially what we're here for. But we've had so many fantastic interactions with other teams and come very close to many people, and we now consider friends. And I think that's one of the more exciting things about the paranormal community is the friendships you make that you didn't expect when you first started this. So
especially now, we got Terry and Irene, we got Texas covered, we got the Far East covered. I don't know how much further we can go, right?
Right.
We can go to Australia.
Oh, that's true.
Ooh, Australia. Irene, have you been to Australia? I know you're closer to there than us.
No, I've been to the closest I've been in the Pacific is Hawaii.
Okay. Have you investigated in Hawaii?
That's my favorite place.
Way
Australia's a
overrated.
little bit lower.
Have you investigated?
Oh, can't hear.
Can't hear you.
the telephone. Have you investigated in Hawaii? You
Where?
can't hear me?
I can hear you now.
Hawaii. Okay.
No, I don't think she has. She would have told me.
Yeah.
I don't
Okay.
think so. Hey, Almay, I remember you guys. You guys came on my show a couple times. What is going on? It's been a while. How you guys doing over there? Feature Ghost Hunters. I think I reached out to you guys a couple times, but I don't think the timing was right. Last time I talked to you guys, if I'm right,
Get on Future
Preacher
Ghosts.
Paranormal's in Pittsburgh too, right? Preacher
They
Ghosts?
are, yes. Yep, they're from. Yeah, they're.
I think I reached out to them too.
Yeah, that's Rochelle and Tiffany. They are absolutely wonderful. They what's another thing that we really like is teaming up with many of our friends and other teams. You get to learn so much. You have your investigative methods, but then you learn other investigative methods. With these teams, and we had our tricks and our tips, and as we started investigating with Future Ghosts or Almay, they have their own, and which is awesome. One tool that we picked out that these teams that Future Ghosts uses is Phasma Box. That is a Windows-based investigation tool, and Bill and I would always use traditional methods, and Rochelle and Tiffany whipped out Phasma Box. We're like, what the heck's a Phasma Box? It's a digital spirit box, and oh my gosh, the intelligent responses that they got out of that were absolutely incredible. It's not a traditional app that you might find on a phone, but that is probably one of the second or third piece of equipment that we pull out of our toolbox now. And we've had so many intelligent responses out of that. Bill, remember that one investigation we did at that private location?
Yes.
They said it was haunted by the former architect.
Yes.
And a little girl. We were upstairs. The family invited us in. This was probably one of the most unique investigations we've ever done. we reached out to them because they do haunted tours during the Halloween months and during the spookier times. And we said, hey, we see you do kind of a tour in your home. Would you like to do a private investigation? Free of charge. We won't charge anything. They said, absolutely. We're really excited. So, they said, how about we charge you $50? I said, all right, that's fine. They said, but we'll serve you dinner. We said, all right, that's a little strange, but they brought in a private chef, and this woman knocked out of the park. She had a menu for us. We had chicken, we had a salad, we had raspberry cheesecake, and this was a Pittsburgh renowned chef, and every piece of the meal was delicious. But they told us stories about their experiences in their home, and this home is from the 1800s. It's two doctors, actually one doctor, one private chef, and they told us all these different things, and they feel it was the architect of the home that built the home, and they said we'll get we'll see things move, we'll feel touching, so on and so forth, but they've never actually had the ability to communicate. So we started upstairs. We were talking through Phasma box and the spirit box, and I forget the architect's name, but his last name started with a B as in boy. And all through the night, Phasma box and the spirit box kept saying this name over and over again. And then even a kid came through and said, "Oh, that's Mr. B." But then it started slowing down, so we invited the homeowners to join us. And Bill, remember that? It was almost like we opened a brand new channel for these spirits to communicate with this family. And they were the chattiest spirits we've ever experienced. It's like they had so much to tell these people and talk to these people about. Like they were talking about gold crosses that they loved, that these people wore. They loved the religious items in their home. They even started name dropping these family members that would visit the home that interested them. So it was really fascinating to talk to these people and leverage this, this digital medium. We're so used to the traditional tools, but this digital medium, this Phasma box, was absolutely mind blowing to this family. And they started investigating with us. They were like, we understand what they're saying. And that was probably one of our most exciting, most recent investigations down in Monongahela, Pennsylvania. It's about an hour south from here. So,
yeah, it really kicked off when we invited the homeowners to investigate with us, because it was we were getting a couple hits, and we figured they're just sitting in the dining room, like, well, come investigate with us. And like Zach said, we through the Phasma, we did a Phasma box session, we did an Estes session. And there were certain responses that came through that only the homeowners would know. They were not even referencing each other by name, but even nicknames that used to call each other as children. So that was something different. That typically we homeowners or location people that own locations usually let us go off and do our thing. But these folks were very interested in what we did, engaged, and I think once we got them to join us, Zach, the spirits felt a lot more comfortable with providing responses to us. So that's I agree. That was something I really enjoyed.
That's cool, guys.
Gary, do you see
Let's
that?
see.
Do you see that? No, right there.
No, I don't see it.
On the left-hand side, above.
What is it?
There's a little boy peeking out on Bill's background.
Oh, Bill. I wonder if that's just his. Bill, is that your dog?
No. No, it's a child spirit.
There you go. Is that what it is?
No.
No. Oh, Bill.
That's kind of creepy. He's fading into the wall, and
There's a child spirit behind him.
Is it a? Do you have an age?
5 or 6.
Bill, when was that home built? Do you know?
Oh, I want to say late 90s, maybe, or late 80s, late 90s.
I was thinking, something hit the 80s in my head. Interesting.
Now it's gone. That was so wow. It was like it came in and then it was out.
Are you known for having?
Do you know his
Are you
name?
known, Bill?
Do you
No,
know his name?
No.
no,
Bobby.
Bobby. Okay.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Okay.
What
That's
color hair?
Uh-oh.
No,
No hair.
brown.
No brown.
It could be dirty blonde too. Like it's in between those two colors.
Interesting.
Wow, Bill, are you known for having spirits in your house or people?
No, the closest thing I ever had come into this house was I think when my father passed, he visited, and I think my wife's grandfather visited us at one
Oh,
point.
they're there. They're there on the other side. They're there
Okay.
on that side of you. They're there on that side of you. The little boy's on this side of you. So,
Okay.
yeah,
But
they
yeah,
don't.
Could you
no.
be
As far
related?
as like, yeah, as far
They
as
don't
children.
come in. They come in as guardian angels. The other one is a different. He's a different thing.
Okay.
I ignore that side and I'm looking at that side. I'm wondering what the heck is he doing there.
Interesting.
I
Very.
scratch my head
Is it a
really.
relative, Bill?
I'm sorry.
Is that a relative, maybe?
Not that I know of. I have one sibling and she's alive. To my knowledge, there's no one else. Just us two from a sibling
Did
perspective.
okay? This boy passed a long time ago.
Okay.
A little while
It could
ago.
be attached to the property. Is he
Yeah.
attached to the property and not the house?
Hmm.
I could find out just a second.
Okay.
No, he's attached to him.
Oh shit. He attached to Bill? So we have another Bella situation, huh?
Hmm.
I mean, that's not a bad thing. I mean,
No.
to me, that I don't consider that a bad thing. A small
No.
attachment like that, uh, they just feel that they need to be wanted. They feel lonely. And you are that beacon of light, Bill, wherever the case may be. It's
Yeah.
and I think that's cool.
He's
You
not
know,
gonna. He's not nefarious. He's not gonna hurt anybody. He's just you're something about your aura
Oh.
that kids like,
Okay.
and that sometimes when your hands down by your by your arms, by your legs, he sometimes likes to hold your hand. Um, I think you brought him home with you. Did you ever bring him home with you? Did you ever bring? Are you nefarious for bringing home spirits?
No, not the way. Usually after when we leave a location, we'll sage ourselves, and we even also have sage water. So we take some types of precautions, but to my knowledge, no, I've never brought anything home.
We go through. We definitely take extensive measures to protect ourselves. We all wear, protective jewelry, stones, crystals, and then we have a sage water mix that we leverage with that we actually learned from future ghosts, and and we'll even take it a step further, and we'll even burn sage after some locations that might feel a little off, that we've visited over the time.
White
Mm.
sage?
Yes, white sage. Yeah, we actually learned that from Rochelle. She's actually Native American. So we learned a lot from her for protection and a lot about other spirits. So we definitely take that we take that seriously. So Bill, I'm wondering if you bring Jeffrey home with you from Hillview.
Don't say that. My wife will be freaking out.
Oh, don't
Yes.
tell her about this little boy then.
Yeah, I'm glad she's not. I'm glad. I hope she's not listening. If she is, then I'll have some explaining to do after we're done. That's for sure.
Right. Wow. All right. Well,
You'll be
Okay.
okay. You'll be okay.
Yeah,
Sea salt is another one that's really good. It seals, it protects, it removes.
interesting.
Yeah. That's why every funeral we always put sea salt on our arms and our legs before we enter our home. You never bring anything that someplace had somebody passed into your home, because they will come in no matter what you do. And that's another thing that's really interesting, that sea salt is a purification.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, we'll definitely look into that. Thank you, Irene. Appreciate that very much. Yeah. So, what one of our favorites? Yeah, I was not expecting that conversation.
I wasn't.
No, it's okay. No, okay.
You blew my hair off. That's how good that conversation went.
I'm happy
So yeah,
doing that.
yeah, actually, kosher salt's what we use. That's
Mhm.
pretty easy for us to find.
Mhm.
But yeah, we definitely protect ourselves every which way possible. I know, especially Tammy, my wife, who's in the group. She's not. She's more of an empath. She feels things. Now she's not sensitive. She can't see what you can see, Irene. But when we go into locations, she'll often feel things. It started with her stomach hurting, but now it has transitioned to almost like a cough, almost like she loses her breath. So when we're in very haunted locations or areas of a building, especially larger locations, we kind of use her as a barometer almost to say, how do you feel in this location? Like, I don't feel too hot. So we'll put a static cam down where she's at, and then we'll investigate that area
So
later.
actually, she's your guinea pig, right? When you go in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's one thing we leverage, and sometimes it works in our favor, and sometimes it does not.
Interesting.
She just looked at me.
Guys. Yeah, don't get in trouble.
No.
I don't want you to have to take the first. Like, if you get in trouble, I got a spare bedroom here in Texas.
That's right.
Come down.
I got a spare bedroom here, but you can always come for vacation too.
That's quite the flight.
Yeah, you can wake up, go to sleep, and wake up and go to sleep again, and you still be on the plane.
Right.
Yeah. All right, guys, check this out. We're going to start this podcast off with a banger. Let's forget everything that you ever thought that you knew about the paranormal. Let's think, that we don't know anything. And just give me your best answers to the questions that I'm going to hit you with. If you guys feel free that you disagree with me, just say, hey, I disagree with you, Terry. I think this, that, and this, and I'm also good for a good argument. It's been a while since I had one. I mean, me and Irene argue all the time, but when I'm winning 95% of the battles, then it's kind of gets boring.
He doesn't win. I win. He doesn't win.
So
I'm the one who wins. He doesn't win.
Uh-oh.
No, she don't win. She threatened. She threatened to tell my relatives on me that I'm a bad guy.
Well, yeah, okay. They're all watching. They're watching.
Bad guy. Uh-oh.
They're always watching. Guys, You mentioned something earlier, Zach. You mentioned para-unity.
Yeah.
Uh, Now you experience para-unity at its finest, at its most, at its finest. Now,
Yep.
have you ever experienced para-unity at its worth, time, and moment?
I don't think anything directly, Zach, but I think indirectly we've heard and seen things, examples of teams that are not supporting each other, maybe acting almost as if like territorial. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And honestly, no, I have not experienced it firsthand. We keep it pretty we keep it pretty even kill. We have people like Verona Ghosts. We try to mesh with everybody. Bill and I and the rest of the team are very positive in our nature and in our intent as well, and that's what's really important about this. So we haven't seen it firsthand. You see the posts on Facebook and social media, but we don't really buy into that. I mean, we generally keep even keel, and we treat everybody equally, and that's just who we are as people and humans. So it's out there. Obviously, it's out there, but we don't buy into that. We don't sensationalize it, and frankly, we stay away from it. We have we're close knit with many teams already, and we tend to avoid that at all possible costs. So it's definitely out there. Don't agree with it, but yeah, that's how we feel.
Hey, just another. Yeah, I agree with you. I'm gonna hit you with a banger here.
Okay.
How do you feel about diversity in the paranormal community? Do you think that we need more diversity in the paranormal community?
I mean, diversity is critical. Absolutely critical. Just like anything we do, diversity brings ideas. Diversity brings new thoughts. That's why diversity is so important to whether it's the paranormal, whether it's your job. Everybody has grown up differently. Everybody has different experiences, and they can bring those ideas. They can bring those thought processes to the paranormal. Try unique things. Try new things. So I 100% agree with diversity. I think it's a positive approach. I think it's necessary, and I think that's what's going to drive the field forward. Terry in Texas, Irene over in Japan. It's just not the same. Everyone's going to have their own input and opinion, and I think that's what really drives the thought processes forward, the experiments forward, and more importantly, the equipment forward to leverage to speak to the spirits. So that's my opinion. Bill, what's yours?
I agree. I think in one other aspect of it is the cultural aspect of different people that diverse backgrounds, history. They may have a different approach to investigations. They may have different thoughts, different ideas. But I'm in full support of diversity within the paranormal community.
Okay. All right. Cool. I feel the exact same way. I think we need more women in the field. I know the paranormal community is heavily men based, but
Right.
I think the women are coming out of the shadows. I think they're would be a great part of our community. I really think that having more women paranormal teams is really good.
I 100% agree with that. I mean, we actually have some all-female teams in the chat right now. Future Ghost is all female. Al May is all female. If you're looking for those kind of that kind of a thought process and pattern, you might want to reach out to them and see if they'll be on your podcast. I know Al May's been on here a few times, but absolutely, women in paranormal is, they'll definitely bring a different light, especially when it comes to like.
I think they bring a unique point of view. When it comes to that, I think that women have a tendency to look at things a little different than men. Men, we have a tendency, or just, going in and investigating. But every now and then, an investigation needs that woman's touch. It really needs that. It needs that nurturing, that woman's touch that a woman can bring into a location. You know,
Absolutely.
because
Especially
a man, you know, because having that deep voice going into a location. I mean, if I was an individual from the other side, and I will always want that softness feel of it. I don't
absolutely.
know if that makes sense to you guys, but
No,
I
I mean,
even from like if you go to locations where there are children spirits there, right? They may better relate to a female or someone that doesn't have maybe like a male or presence to them. You know what I mean? They may feel more comfortable interacting with the females. I know we've had similar experiences with our friends from Future Ghosts. Children interacting with both of our spouses, and even Zach's daughter. My wife and his daughter are in the educational field, and because their approach to working with children with special needs,
mhm.
those childlike spirits will interact with them and open up to them more so than maybe myself or Zach.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, yeah, I mean, we've had like Bill Manor, for example, used to be a children's home. Um, Somebody like me, I'm 6'2". I'm not the smallest frame guy on earth, but so these children, or these special needs, potentially spirits, don't want to interact with me. Um, but they'll interact with Tammy or Carrie more easily. They might be a little bit more apt to touching. One time at the Hinsdale house, Tammy actually felt a child spirit kind of crawl on her lap, and we caught that on an SLS camera, and it was touching her. She wears this beanie, and it was playing with the pom poms. And then somebody like me or Bill, we've been called things like the big one at a couple locations, and they said, they almost always ask me or Bill to sit down to be at their level. So 100% agree with the approach of, there's going to be a woman's touch. They're nurturing, they're better with children. Children are going to look up to women more. So absolutely, I 100% agree with that, Terry.
I think
great. Okay.
women also have a sixth sense that we know when we give birth to children. We think, okay, there's something weird going on with my child. Okay, I hear my child budgeting, or the kids are playing and there's something not right going on. So we have that extra hinky part that we know that something's not right. So we listen to ourselves, and sometimes,
Right.
And men should really listen to themselves more, because they tend to ignore it or turn it off, and when they should listen to themselves a little bit more, and they should really realize that that signal is telling them to do something, that signal is telling them to be aware of something. And I think as between male and female, I think women has a tendency to listen to themselves, and men have a tendency, well, no, that's not
Yeah.
it. I'm gonna turn it off. I'm not gonna listen to myself. When you know darn well that you should listen to yourself, you know darn well that something's there that could be dangerous, or it could help save your life, or say, no, I think I'll turn right at this thing. I don't think I'll turn left, because I don't know, there's something weird going on. And you should listen to yourself, especially if you're in the car driving and you feel that something's not right on the road, or there's going to be an accident on the road. Well, I better listen to myself. I better turn off
Right.
here and just take a different route home. I think that's really important. That's the start. That's the first step in learning how to listen to yourself and how to use your. Everyone has a certain amount of abilities, okay? It's just whether you tap into it or not. That's the thing. Whether you listen to yourself or not. Whether you hear the little voice in your head telling you, be just watch out, or do this or do that, and it could save your life. And that's what I think is very important. That's why I always suggest with people who come on the podcast to listen to yourself. You might find that it could help you, or you might find it, phew, I dodged a bullet there, right?
Right. 100% agree with
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna stay on her level, guys, and I'm gonna ask you guys this. You know, just be honest with me. Uh, at what point will we ever truly start listening to our bodies? You know, will it ever be a point where in the paranormal community that we would stop buying these equipment that everybody's spending thousands of dollars, hundreds of dollars, man? We can spend that money on Bush Beer and pretzels, you
Yeah.
know, and
Good to me.
at what point are we going to stop buying these equipment and just start listening to our bodies? I mean, it can't get no bigger. Dude, Zach, you're 6'2". You're the biggest REM pod I've ever seen. You know, when are we
Right.
going to? So
I mean,
we got
I
to
hear
know
ya.
and hold ourselves accountable in trusting our body better than trusting these $800 REM pods we're buying. You know,
Absolutely.
can you imagine how much money we are spending at Ghost Stop a year?
Right.
Can you imagine
Absolutely.
how much that is?
Yeah. I mean, so I just did a ghost hunting paranormal 101 seminar at our friends Kindred Spirits up in Titusville, Pennsylvania. They run the Haunted Parkside old YMCA. That was the first thing I talked about is you don't need all this equipment. You know, all you need is your senses. You need your eyes. You need your, you need to just relax. You need to hear. You need to see, and then have a notepad and maybe an EVP recorder just to capture things. Just to start off there, that's free. You know, you rest your eyes. You look for shadows. I showed people how to look for shadows, which I learned from Rochelle and Future Ghost Paranormal. But yeah, I mean that is one thing. Your senses are your biggest assets. You know, pre-walkthrough is very important because you want to understand what is normal versus paranormal. What's that noise? It's probably the fridge, or it's probably the AC kicking on.
Yeah.
You want to learn that kind of stuff first.
Yeah.
That's what's important. And then, you know, as you're investigating throughout the night, you know, you're going to ask for knocking. Ask them to knock back. Free. They're potentially going to do it. They might not do it. But I mean, that is the most important thing is your eyes and ears, writing it and documenting it and logging it, and then maybe a digital recorder. That's what I always recommend people to start off with. Yeah, I mean, all these bells and whistles are nice to have, but they're not needed. I mean, sometimes it's just nice to just have a simple REM pod out. You know, we have a tripwire, and then we use our senses. And that's usually what we do for the first, Bill, hour and a half. We just sit there in silence and see what we get.
Yep.
So what happened,
right.
guys? Yeah.
Yeah.
So what happened, guys, when the people that you come to visit, they're not impressed with you guys because for the simple fact that the people the night before have the same damn thing that you are presenting them today. So they're not going to be impressed. I mean, it's really hard when every team has the same old equipment. Yeah. And I'm like, come on, guys.
Right.
Curiosity, just because you're not here, not in your physical body, doesn't mean that you don't have the curiosity nature in you.
Yeah, we always try to ask different questions. So Bill is our historian. I know some teams like to go in kind of blind and see what they get, but Bill's our historian. He'll do a bunch of research before we go to a spot, and we'll try to dig into the history. We don't just go, we start off with the simple questions, but we actually try to dig into the history of mine explosions in Bel Air, Ohio, steamboat captains and Wheeling, West Virginia, and all of that kind of thing. But yeah, we try to dig in, and that's the thing. Like, you also have to have fun with the spirits. You'll be surprised how much you actually get. What kind of interactions you get when you start having fun, or you start joking with one another. They're going to start joking with you. They might, they might be a little bit more apt to talk to you, might break down their walls or their shyness. Future Ghost just put a thing in the chat. Is too much equipment too much? Absolutely, it is. I think you're going to confuse the spirits. The spirits are not going to know, what to concentrate on. It might just be too overwhelming for them. So that's how we take the initial approach.
And
So
some old spirits may not like equipment. I had some of my spirits who told me to get rid of that equipment. I don't want it. I had spirits in the atomic bomb site said, I don't want that. You want to talk to me, you got to put it away. So you know what? There we go. Put it away. Okay, now you can talk to me. And okay, I'll talk to you. So
Right.
I had spirits that don't like equipment, period. And some places, I'm going to tell you, okay, we don't have vital records here because this whole country's haunted, okay? And real estate is really expensive, right? And it's really rare. So they don't want you to know what happened on that soil. So they just shred it all. And yeah, you're lucky if you want to buy a house, you need a medium to buy a house because you don't want to have whoops.
Right. Right.
But yeah, we don't have vital records. And the only time where you can hear something about something is through an old man or an old lady who's lived their lives. And they'll tell you certain things that happen in certain places, but they're not going to tell you anything. But young people won't tell you anything. But you have to hear an old man or old lady, somebody who's been in the area for a long time, who will tell you the story about certain places, right? And it goes on borderline of urban legends, but some of them have a lot of quality to it, right? And some of them have a lot of clout to it. So you have to listen to both sides of it, and then it'll give you some insight, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's
But
I definitely hear you. Yeah.
but history of places, right? It's like okay, I'm a very big skeptic about history because a lot of things that are written there, like Terry knows it too. A lot of stuff that's written, it's a lot of BS also, right? It's like somebody who wrote it there and really didn't know the real history of a place. Like I've been to places that were brothels and where six shooters went in and then a lot of things happened to the lady who worked in the brothel and upstairs, and blah 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 happened to her, and yeah, and so a lot of times history can be a lot of malarkey.
That's true. Yeah, and that's some things you have to weed through, like especially YouTubers. They might want to twist the narrative to fit their storyline, and that's something you got to be careful of. So in Japan or where you're at, that might be challenging because it sounds like they get rid of a lot of the vital records. But if we have the opportunity, we always research online. We actually go to the historical societies. We get a lot of information from them. And then the local people will actually try to find some local people to talk about the area as well, just like you do.
Which is a good idea. Which is a good idea there. Yeah, because they'll probably give you more information than something online, right?
Right.
Yeah. Sometimes it's tough to filter out fact from fiction, right? Like what really is the history of a location versus what is an urban legend. So that's why beyond just the research, we'll talk to the homeowners and be like, hey, we heard this, and they'll be like, yes, no, that's false, or yes, it's true, or partially true. Here's the actual facts behind it, and we go according to that. There's a lot of teams out there that just like to over sensationalize facts. Instead of one person that died, it was they died by suicide or something to that effect, right? And it's like don't over give us
Well, the best information you'll get is out of the dead person who will tell you what happened to them, right? So they'll tell you straight from the heart what happened to them, right, Terry?
Right.
Oh yeah. But guys, how far is too far to go when you're asking questions? Dude, I've seen so many people on YouTube asking some of the dumbest questions. Like, are you dead?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I think
why would you even ask that?
Yeah.
What would be the logic in you asking that question? Are you dead?
Right.
yeah.
No,
For us,
it's a
How old
lie.
are you? How old are you? How'd you die? And like,
Right. Yeah. It's that's yeah. We I lost my train of thought just now, but yeah, it's that's it's yeah, we try to ask logical questions. We also try to do strings of questions. If we're starting to get some traction on one thing, you don't want to just, you know, you start talking about this is a woman, she's in her 30s, she lived in the X time, but then you don't want to be like, hey, do you like pizza? Like it just doesn't like you want to keep that line of questioning going. You don't want to start, derailing it. So we're pretty cognizant of those kinds of things. But sometimes if you're just not getting responses, it's good to mix it up. But I remember one time we were all in a public, and I just told the story over the weekend or last weekend. We like to go do publics just because if we have nothing going on, we'll get in real cheap. We heard some other people looking for doing some ghost hunting. They're like, hey, I heard you make spaghetti. I heard you have a secret recipe. Can you tell us the ingredients of your secret recipe? The spirits aren't going to say, oh, it's a pinch of garlic, it's a pinch of tomato paste. They're not going to provide that kind of context. But yeah, we've seen it all. But yeah, we try to ask interesting questions, but sometimes even the simple ones are still slip by, and sometimes we like to have fun too. So, but
Guys, what is your end game to all this? What is it you're hoping to accomplish?
Bill,
I
you
don't-
go.
Yeah,
But-
I was gonna say for me, it's to prove that there is life after death, right? Just because we're gone in our physical bodies, our spirits do continue on. I grew up in a semi-religious household, so there's that faith-based aspect of it, and I always talk about spirits and going, and you're either going up or you're going down, right? Based on the choices that you made in life. So for me, the end game would be to validate that there is life after death.
Bill, do you believe that there
Okay.
is that way? Do you believe that there is such a thing as that?
I do. I but just again, it's probably just because of my my religious upbringing. Not that I am 100% faith based in my approach to the paranormal, but yeah, I do believe that there's an up and a down, and there's a middle, right? There's that purgatory that you could be stuck in. But again, that's just my opinion. It might be a hot take or not, but that's just me.
Yeah.
Well, I understand. I understand that. And that's very important for you to really come out and say something, because a lot of people are scared to say something about that because they're afraid they're gonna get ridiculed, right? And there's nothing wrong with coming out and say exactly how you feel. Can I help you with that one?
No, it's not wrong.
There's no such a thing as
Huh?
this. There's no such a thing as
Yeah.
this. And I've been I know a lot of stuff that a lot of
Yeah.
people won't know, and Terry and I we have arguments about that.
Right.
But
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm about to have an argument with Bill right now.
Uh-oh.
Bill,
oh,
if
Uh-oh.
you, I'm gonna, because I'm feeding off what you just said. If you found clear evidence that there is life on the other side, how would you present that to the paranormal community? What would you do and say to actually convince these guys that the evidence you got is really true?
hmm
If I was to ever do that, it would be basically anything that we present, like when we do our findings, right? We go through the videos and the audio and photos. everything that we present is we try to provide as much factual based information as possible. It's not like, oh, well, I was sitting there and I felt this and I felt that and I thought I saw dust. It might be an orb. No, it's got to be scientific and factual based. I'm not
Right.
just going to, give something that's an opinion, if you will. It'll be, here's the evidence. We present it as we found it. You be the judge. And if someone believes it, great. If they don't, great. It doesn't. I don't get bent out of shape one way or the other if somebody says, "Oh, what you found is malarkey." Okay, great. Thanks for your
Bill,
opinion.
I applaud you because that's exactly how we as mediums feel. We're there to show you what's there. We
Right.
see it, we hear it. Sometimes we have help. The thing is to have an audio is to back up what we saw, to back up what we hear, because not everyone else can hear what we hear, right? Or not everyone else can see what we see.
Mhm.
But the thing is that I see it, I hear it, I feel it, I know it's there. You believe me, that's fine. You don't, that's fine too. Like, see ya. Like,
Right.
I'm not here to show you. I'm not here to twist your arm and say, okay, this is exactly what I saw. I mean, you gotta believe me. Like, no, I don't care. I don't care if you believe me or not. I don't care if you want to or not. It's there. I see it. I hear it. Believe me. If you don't, that's fine too. So it goes both ways,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. A 20-second
but
clip of.
here,
Go ahead.
here's the thing, guys. Our goal, one of our main goals in
Mm-hmm.
the paranormal community is, because I know there's a lot of people out there that feels a certain way, and I know there's a lot of people out there that don't give a hoot on what the
Yeah.
scientific world think about us. But is that not one of our main goals in the community, is to have the scientific community accept us for who and what we are? I know that one day we're going to be able to have that seat at the table and represent everyone as a whole, but I
Mm-hmm.
don't think that's going to be in my lifetime. But
No.
I do think that continue giving evidence to to the world and to the scientific community is a great start for us achieving that.
Mm-hmm.
And we're setting the foundation for the next future paranormal investigators that are not here yet.
Mm-hmm.
What you guys think?
I agree with that. Yeah, we're not going to have we're not going to have a seat at the table from a science perspective, but I know there are many contributors in the field, like Gary Galka, who's developed the SB7 spirit box. You have the Lauren Hellicksons of the world, who are absolutely brilliant when it comes to a lot of these kind of scientific discussions. Lauren can absolutely blow your mind when it comes to some of her theories and some of what she brings to the field. And she's really pushing that forward. Austin Maynard is pushing those kinds of thoughts forward as well. So those are, we need those kind of individuals, and they are absolutely pushing the scientific ideas and throughputs forward. But it's definitely not going to be tomorrow. It's not going to be next year, but I think down the line, absolutely. And I think we will have a seat eventually, but
It's going to take time
going to
to
take time.
the truth, right? Yeah,
And
because
go ahead.
you may find the support, you may not find the support. There are lovers and there are haters in every group, right?
Yeah.
And my country, you'll never get the support, but I know your country will. I think we're on the bottom of the list of that one, but it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of effort too, and I think we just have to keep at it.
Yeah, and I think it's all cultural too. I mean, I think what I was going to say a few minutes ago was, a 20. We just posted a video of a growl we got at the Reliquary of St. John's up in Fredonia, Pennsylvania. It's 10 seconds of a growl in Tammy's ear. The four of us, whomever that's in the field, will most likely look at it and say that's fantastic. but there's always going to be, individuals that'll go, that was fake, that was this, this was someone's stomach. So, you're not going to change their minds over a 10-second, 20-second, 30-second clip. They're going to believe what they believe, and they have that, that is their opinion. This is my opinion. And I'm going to respect everybody's opinion. That's just who I am as an individual. So, I believe what I believe. I'm here to see what's on the other side, if anything. And I fully believe that there is something on the other side. What that is, I'm not sure, but I from all of our experiences that we've captured over these, how many years, 100% there's something there. So
I think skeptics keep us on our toes because not everything is paranormal, right? As you believe. And you know that too. And you got to make sure, okay, the window's closed, okay, the air conditioning's off, okay, the curtains are closed, or whatever. You have to have a sterile investigation. If you don't, you're whoops, like boo-boos, right? Yeah.
Right.
And I agree with you, but I like the skeptics in it who really want to question it, because it keeps us making sure that yeah, it may be paranormal, it may not be paranormal, but we have to make sure that we see things, that we do things that are proper, clean, on the books, not somebody running around in the background that somebody else is doing, that making noises
Right.
that could be picking up on our microphone or whatever, right?
Yeah. I remember one time we were at a location and we were split up, and there was a disembodied voice we captured, and we had cameras running everywhere. And we found out after about 2 hours worth of research, it was somebody upstairs that screamed, and they said, the line that we thought we heard, and it was absolutely them screaming. But, with our due diligence, with our, corroborating evidence, we were able to identify it was actually a normal thing. It just wasn't disembodied, unfortunately. Yeah, it would have been a fantastic capture, but
Yeah,
unfortunately, it was someone just scared out of their minds, from what they saw.
we should be. That was a good one, right? Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we get unexplained things, and one thing that we say as a team is, these shows shoot these episodes for weeks at a time. Wear the same exact shirt day over day, investigation after investigation. They splice it down to 45 minutes. So all of that they see, if it wasn't manufactured and is real, phenomenal. But it took them 2 weeks to get 45 minutes worth. If we get one or two unexplainable activities that we cannot debunk, we say that's a good night. Obviously you want more, but sometimes you walk in, you get a cat.
You get what you can get. You get what you get, right? Yeah.
So we're happy with that. But yeah, we'd love to have our hair touched, our shirts pulled, and all that. But sometimes it's just just one or two things, and we're happy with that.
Sometimes you're lucky if you get even that much right.
Mm-hmm.
When you're in a place, right? I get it.
And the thing is some of these, when you're with the homeowner or the location owner, you'll get a lot of activity because they're there, because the spirits are used to them. But then when that location owner leaves and it's just you guys or gals, they might slow down. They might go shy. They might go, I don't know who these people are. So if you go to the same location repeatedly, like we've been to the Ross house in Bel Air. We love Cindy. She's absolutely wonderful. We've been there about 15 or 20 times. The spirits absolutely know us at this point. They're willing to give us more of interactions versus, a brand new spot we've never been to. They might give us, a couple bangs here and there, but they're too shy, or they're like, we don't know who these people are. We don't want to interact with them. So we've seen that as well.
Yeah.
Do you believe that if a person has baggage before you go in there, do you believe that no, you can't go in there, or you shouldn't go in there, or you have to clear your head before you go in there? Do you believe that too? Or do you think that it really doesn't matter?
I think you have to have positive intent when you go in. I think you have to have the intent of, not negative intent. I think the spirits can understand that and see through that, and they'll shut down. So I think if you have going there with negative intention, I think you're going to have a bad time, if any. So we always start pushing intent into the air about a week or so before investigation. We start sending the positive vibes out, and I think that gives us a good thing. But yeah, good interactions. But absolutely, if they have an ulterior motive, I think they're going to have nothing happen, or something else. So that's how we approach everything with positivity. So
interesting. Do any of you guys have kids, little ones?
no, mine are old.
No little children. No.
Okay, let's take a step back in the time. Probably about 20 years ago. Did you guys have kids when you was 20 years ago?
Mine are stepkids. So 20 years ago, no. But yeah, they were around age 8, 17. Bill?
Okay, well, I mean, we've all been around kids that sometimes. And here's the question that I've always seemed to ask myself, and I can't seem to come up with an answer. What is the one thing that a kid does to get an adult's attention or get someone's attention?
Well, for me, it's usually they'll tug on the shirt. They'll throw something. They'll act up, right, to get an adult's attention.
Or sometimes they might do things over and over and over again to get your attention, right? Just to irritate the hell out of you. They'll do something over and over again.
Yeah.
And so what does that sound like to you guys in the paranormal community? If somebody's doing something over and over again, they're trying to get your attention, what does that sound like?
Yeah, good question. I don't know. It's been probably about 30 years for me since our kids have been little. So running up and down the hall would be something to try to get someone's attention. Constant knocking, constant noises, something to that effect.
And they'll keep doing it until what? Until you acknowledge them, correct?
Right. Yep.
Unless you give them what they want. Yep. So is that possible that thank you, May. Thank you for saying that. I love you guys. I'm gonna put it up what they said.
Yep.
Yeah.
So how is it? What I just described is residual energy, right? Mm-hmm. But how can we say that it's residual energy when, okay, put it like this, they're doing something over and over again. That's what residual energy is, right? So at the end of the day have anybody ever asked these guys, hey, what are you doing? What do you want? And these guys will keep doing it for years and years and years, and nobody has never asked that particular question to them. People do things for a reason. Kids do things for a reason. Adults do things for a reason. Residual energy, are they doing things for a reason?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's almost just like a recording over and over again. I don't know. I don't have any insight into why that could be occurring. It's fascinating when you do run into that. I ran into that. Bill wasn't with me that day, but me and another team did a private investigation of another home, and we put motion detectors and a couple other items in a kind of a hallway that goes up or downstairs. And literally it seemed like every minute the motion detector went off, and it was almost like it was a repeating pattern of something coming down the hall and going up the steps, because it would be the motion detector and the cat ball going off almost every minute. So it's almost like it was just doing whatever it was going to be doing, whatever that spirit was. That was the most active hallway, and this was a home from the 1800s.
And did you ever ask him, why are you doing that?
Didn't get a response.
You ask him, hey, stop that. Hey, what are you guys doing? I mean, because if we don't ask specific questions, we don't get specific answers.
100% agree. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and that is my biggest pet peeve because I've argued with people on the podcast about residual energy. You know what it could be, what it is. People tell me what they think it is, blah blah blah, and I say residual energy reminds me of a child that's trying to get your attention.
That's an
Does it
interesting
over
theory.
and over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you guys believe me or whether you guys, whatever the case may be, but that
That's an
is what
interesting
I
theory.
think residual energy is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Until we figure out, till we ask that very specific question that gets these guys' attention.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. They might not even know you're there, though. I mean, if you think
Now,
of this
would it
like
be a shocker? Now, would it be a shocker if they doing this is residual energy and they'll turn around and say no, then turn around
right.
and just keep doing it?
Yeah.
That would be a shocker. I
A
would love
residual
it.
energy could also be a gunshot going off. It could be a person going to the window looking for their spouse that hasn't come home. It could be something that happens at a certain time of the night. It could be something like that, like a 3 o'clock morning, the witching hour. It could be somebody that's waiting for something or something that happened to them at that particular time that creates that energy in that home or in that environment or in that space. It could be all that all put together too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, hey,
I mean, there's
listen, guys.
so
Me
many.
and don't mean to interrupt, but me and Zach, we got to drop off here. We appreciate the invitation, and hopefully, we'll get to hear from you guys soon here in the near future. We really enjoyed our time.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
many more questions to ask.
Yeah.
We would love to have you guys back on the show.
Oh,
And
one last
where
question. One last question. Bucket list. Where would you like to go anywhere in the world? Investigate.
For me,
One last question.
it would probably be one of the castles over in Scotland for me.
Zach?
interesting.
That's yeah. So I think the Ram Inn overseas, I think would be really cool. I'm more stateside. I don't like to travel abroad, but I think the Ram Inn would be really cool. The Winchester Mystery Museum over on the west coast of the U.S. would be amazing. Stanley Hotel, and Estes Park, I think would be phenomenal. But I think the Ram Inn, I've seen a lot of footage about that place, and I think investigating over there where hundreds of years old or thousands of years old versus just like versus 250 years old. So I think that's the
Yeah.
I think that's that
I think
would
that would
extend.
be cool. That would be a cool place. Well, guys, appreciate it. I hate to see that you had to go in such a short notice. We usually do an hour and a half to 2 hours, but man, there's many more questions for you guys. I say I love to pick your brains just to see what you guys think about certain topics. But we do understand that you guys have to go. Feature Ghost Paranormal. Check your email because I will be reaching out to you guys again to get you guys on the show.
There you go.
Hey, you know me. I love to have you guys back on the show any day, anytime, any place. You guys are fantastic. Man, I wish you guys a lot of luck and continue on your journey.
Absolutely. Thank you for being us, guys. Anything else?
Well, thank you for coming on. And thank
Appreciate
the
it.
audience for watching.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. We wish we had a little more time. Maybe we'll have part 2 coming in, right?
Yeah.
Part two.
Yeah. We'll touch base with you. Yeah.
Bill, if you ever decide to get that seat at the table, I want to be the first to know. Well, guys, this is Terry and Irene with NSPS TV Paranormal. Hey, man, we were in Pittsburgh, PA today, man. Alone in the Dark Paranormal Investigations. Check them out. Show them some love, show them support. Reach over there and, hey, hit that follow, subscribe, whatever it is that they do. Make sure you hit that button, man. In the meantime, peace. Bye, guys.
Bye.
See ya.